Hello, YouTube! This is Scrub-a-Dub, where this scrub tries to clean up his game just a little bit. Alright, we're back today. Obviously, I didn't change the team any this time around. Not yet. I'm still thinking about things. I actually have maybe another switch. I already mentioned yesterday that Arcanine and Zapdos switch. I'm also thinking once I do that, I might drop Salamence, because if I put Arcanine, then I have half my team with Intimidate, which gets kind of awkward if I happen to run into a Bishop or a Melodic. So then I would drop Salamence, and I'm thinking about Azumarill. That gives me some nice water coverage, and I get that nice mix of physical and special attackers. But that's all theory for another day. Let's get into this battle today. Alright, we're at 1569. After yesterday's win, hopefully we can break the 1500s soon. That would be lovely. We got Jay from Massachusetts. Let's see what Jay has bringing to the table. Alright, we got Gengar, a Venusaur, an Azumarill, a Bishop, a Rotom Heat, and a Graveler, or a Golem. That's Golem, not Graveler. A Golem. A Golem? What the? Okay. So things looking pretty standard, except for the Golem. He obviously does not like opposing fairies. He's got Bishop, Gengar, and Venusaur. He could possibly be going for a Mega Gengar. But I don't think so. I think it's going to be just Mega Venusaur. Let's see. Okay, what do I not like on his team? I don't like that Bishop. Venusaur is a little rough to deal with unless I have Talonflame. So of course I'm going to take Talonflame. He knows I'm going to take Talonflame. Means he's probably going to lead. He's probably going to lead with Bishop and Rotom Heat. Alright, so let's go Greninja, Talonflame, Scissor, and Rotom. I think Rotom's gonna be pretty good there. I'm not gonna take either of my Intimidators because that just sets Bisharp up. But both my Intimidators, neither one are really that good against this team anyway. Minus like Landorus superpower into Bisharp, but I'm not worried about that anyway. Yeah. Let's get it on. If he does go Mega Gengar, he's gonna have a bad time. Considering how much U-turn and Volt Switch I have on my team, if he tries to Perish Trap, he's probably gonna have a bad time. Okay, so he leads Gengar and Rotom. Not a bad lead. At least he doesn't have Fake Out. I think I'm just gonna go for the obvious play here. See if he protects. I mean, Scald into Rotom. And this team's not really fast besides Gengar. Rotom might be fast. Let's just Brave Bird into Gengar. Meh. Alright, so no switches from him. Show me the Focus Sash. There's that Focus Sash. Greninja should go first. How did he hang on from that? That's most disappointing. And he activates his Citrus Berry. Alright. Icy Wind's gonna slow me down a little bit. That's fine. Is he gonna kill? Is he gonna KO Talonflame? Yep. All right. Yep. Talonflame is fainted. All right. So let's see. Scissor or Rotom? I think I'm gonna go. Oh, Scissor's kind of sketchy. So I'll go Rotom. Just because that Rotom Heat is really scary for Scissor. If I don't get the KO, like if Greninja's doesn't outspeed here, doesn't outspeed Rotom after the Icy Wind. So let's go. I'm going to U-turn into Rotom and just Thunderbolt Gengar. Yeah. Okay, so is Rotom protected? Okay, that's nice that Greninja avoided. Rotom doesn't care about not being fast. This should KO the right here. KO that Gengar. Get out of here, Gengar. I really wanted to get that Rotom Heat out of here though. That leaves me without a good switch in on a fire move. Come on, man. Don't disconnect on me. Don't disconnect on me. You have Venusaur, Azumarill, Bisharp, or Golem to bring in. Okay, so here comes Bisharp. We know it doesn't have a Focus Sash. It's sad that we lost Talonflame. We probably should have tried to preserve Talonflame better, given that if he has Venusaur, it's going to be a little bit hard. I can never remember if Bug is good versus Dark. Cause I'm horrible like that. But I only look up things once and then I usually remember. Bug is good against Dark. So we're gonna U-turn into Bisharp. How about that? And Hydro Pump into Rotom. Sucker Punch probably going to KO Greninja. Yeah. It's okay as long as my Rotom lands Hydro Pump. If I can land Hydro Pump, I'm still in a decent spot. If I don't land the Hydro Pump, I might have to struggle a little bit. Alright, so that's going to feint this Rotom. Awesome. Obviously, Scissor's going to come in. Obvious. Ooh, Green Ranger. Green Ranger versus Red Ranger. And he's got Azumarill as his last one. Okay. I don't hate this. It's not perfect, but I don't hate it. What is going to be the best move there? Bone punch on that side. On 20 seconds, 20 seconds. We're going to U-turn, see how much it does. I don't know how much it'll actually do. Thunderbolt Azumarill. I probably should have gone for the Bullet Punch, but I'm bad. Nope, U-turn does do more. Okay, so let's Bullet Punch, Azumarill, and... oh man, coming to bite me. Coming to bite me, not having Protect on Rotom. Let's see. I think a Thunderbolt. Yeah. Thunderbolt on Bishop. Yeah. Sucker Punch probably taking care of Rotom. No, on Scissor. Okay. But it is important that he is faster than my Scissor. Oh, didn't get it. Oh! What's he gonna do? What's he gonna do? He's probably just gonna Aqua Tail again and take out my Rotom. Which one am I more afraid of with Scissor? Because that Sucker Punch did quite a bit. It does like 53. Waterfall does quite a bit too. I think I need to Bullet Punch the Bisharp. Thunderbolt Azumarill. Alright, so what happens here, he's going into Scissor, try to get off as much damage. He could try to Aqua Tail the Scissor. Okay. Whatever, yeah, I did this Bullet Punch, so my Scissor is faster than his Azumarill. I did this, set this up on purpose. I don't have to worry about his priority Sucker Punch anymore, and I can just Bullet Punch the Azumarill, and that should be game. Yep, there we go. So I did pick my attacks on purpose that way. I got rid of the Sucker Punch, which was doing a bunch of damage, and I knew if Scissor could survive. Basically, I set it up to where if Scissor survived, I was going to win. If Scissor didn't survive, I was probably going to lose. So if he would have doubled into Scissor, he probably would have taken that. His Aqua Jet probably would have done about 20%, which would have been enough at that range to get me. But I also would have won on that turn because a Thunderbolt from Rotom would have fainted his Azumarill. That's what I was getting at. I set that up. I very specifically had to get my attacks right. Otherwise, I could have lost. If I would have... so if he'd have doubled into Scissor and I had not KO'd the Sucker Punch or the Bisharp first, I very easily could have lost that. But I did see that situation and went for it correctly. yeah, that went stunningly well. It didn't let me do switches as much as I would like to. Part of that was because of the bit sharp. Part of that was just the situation that he put me in. It just didn't call for it. Just making smart attacks pulled out the game. Yep. I'm still thinking about those changes. The changes may not happen because I did start thinking about like U-turn and volt switch a little bit more, and I don't think I've quite been using it right. The real benefit from volt switch and U-turn is not to get them off and get damage. It's when you are expecting a switch, like say I have out a Rotom Wash and a Talonflame, and my opponent has a Heatran and a Greninja. I'm expecting a switch from Heatran because Rotom Wash threatens it so bad that he either has to protect or he has to switch it out. So I Volt Switch into Heatran, predicting his switch. This doesn't necessarily do a bunch of damage to his switch, but it does get a little bit of chip damage on his switch, and then it lets me put something in that is good against whatever he switched in. So it gets... That's where the momentum comes from. I was seeing people that weren't sure how... They were asking how it helps your momentum, and that's where you're gaining your momentum. Is you're seeing what they're doing, you're getting that little bit of chip damage, and then you are putting in something that is well positioned against whatever they switched in. And I have not been doing it that way. I've been trying to use it to switch in defensively, and that is not the way to use it. The way to use it is to switch in offensively to threaten their switch-ins. And in that case, I think Talonflame and Greninja do a decent job because they are so threatening out front. So if I can force my opponent to switch away to, get away from them, and so then you turn into that slot or into the other slot, it does give me an advantage. So I'm going to stick with it a little bit longer. But I do have ideas. I think the other version of the team still works. It's not quite as focused on switching around, but I think it looks like a nice configuration too. Anyway, that's it for today. Have a good one.